about it. But you know, we got to come down on Turkey a little bit for trying to stifle social media in a country that has benefited tremendously from being open and being that bridge between the West and the Middle East. And so now, today, there was a YouTube video that people are talking about where the video shows what appears to be a Turkish riot police. As you know, there are riots and there's protests going on in Istanbul, where a Turkish riot police potentially shoots one of the protesters. And you see the protester go down, and but you don't know if they're using rubber bullets or not, right? I mean, but social media has blown up and saying that the person was killed. So, you know, if you're not participating in social media, then someone else gets to write the story, right? And I'd love to know the truth.
Go ahead, Jim.
What?
You see this every time there's a, especially in countries that clamp down on freedom of speech, basically. When there is an uprising, you always see the opposition is telling the story. Even when the government is trying to clamp down on communications, it never works. It never works.
You know, I don't know if you guys are watching Mad Men, but the other night they were showing the protests at, I think, the 1968 Democratic Convention, and where people had cameras. There were obviously no smartphones and all that, and they were big cameras, but, you know, video cameras, and the protesters were yelling, "The whole world is watching, the whole world is watching," which is exactly what people are saying now, but of course now the whole world is watching. You know, then it was a whole different concept, but, you know, the sad part is, what is it, 50 years later, this is still going on. Governments are still beating protesters in the street, and, you know, people are still trying to stop it. So, yes, we certainly should get down on the Turkish government, but they're not the last, and sadly, it's going to keep happening.
Yeah. Find out and follow B.L. Ackman. Find out and follow B.L. Ackman. Now, she's on Twitter as What's Next on Twitter. So follow her on What's Next. Also on her blog, whatsnextblog.com. And David, you can find at E-Strategy Blog, as well as D. Erickson on Twitter and the Daily Numbers. I'm Albert Marugi from ProvidentPartners.net. You can find me there and on Twitter as Albert Marugi. Thanks so much.
And you can find all of us on Google+.
Yes, all of us on Google+ on the Beyond Social Media show. Good deal. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.